Okay, we've got it. All right, thank you very much, Lisa. Would like to call to order our Wicked Parks and Recreation Committee meeting of April 6th. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Seeing none, item 3, adoption of the last minutes. Anyone have any questions, alterations, comments about the last set of minutes? I don't see any, so I'm just looking for an adoption of the minutes. Motion to adopt the minutes. Looking for a mover. Stephanie, seconder. Somebody a second. Thank you very much. And anybody opposed? And those are carried. All right. Business arising from the minutes of March the 2nd. Seeing none. We have no delegations or communications this evening. No reports. We have new business, and we have Paul up with a construction update for the committee. Paul?
Thank you, through you, Chair. Construction's going well. Everything seems to be on schedule. They've actually made quite a bit of progress. If you go through and park near the active living center, you might get a good peek to see, or if you manage to park at the parking lot on the Lions side and walk over to the construction fence, don't go through the fence, but you could get a good view of see what they've already completed, and they're making very good progress. So just want to reach out and thank everyone for their patience during this the end of the hockey season. I know it wasn't perfect, but I think we worked well and adapted, and everything went smoothly. So just want to thank everyone for that.
Okay. I was just wondering, just a question for me, have you heard anything from the public with respect to construction, Paul, or complaints, accolades, anything like that the committee needs to know about?
They're talking. They're excited to see stuff happening. Obviously, it's been a long time coming. No real complaints, just the minor inconveniences that people have lived through, and we'll get through. And once this is done, they'll be more than happy with it. Perfect.
Good. Okay. Thank you, Paul. Any other questions, comments for Paul on the construction update? None. I don't see any hands. All right. We'll move on to 7.2, sorry. Groundbreaking ceremony. And Paul, you again, please.
Yes. So we have arranged with the ICIP delegations that April 22nd, 11 a.m. We're having a groundbreaking ceremony. Just to kick off everything. We're going to kick off the fundraising campaign, really get things moving, and that will be at 11 a.m. on the 22nd. And all the committee members are invited, as you are all, part of this process. You've all helped get us to this stage, so everyone's invited to join us that morning.
Okay, perfect, excellent. And I don't know if there's anything I needed to add to that. Is there any questions, comments? Yes. Mr. Councillor Hodgins.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For that groundbreaking ceremony, is there any public notice for that, or invites? Is it a public event, or is that sent to the newsletter or anything, or is it more of just a photo op opportunity?
Mr.
Daniel?
Chair.
Run ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just making it.
If I can jump in and take a stab at the answer.
Yes,
there.
of course. Sorry, I was just making.
I think we will be releasing something, and I noticed Lisa's got her camera off there, but Lisa's working with the mayor, as well as Monty McNaughton, our MPP, will be there. We don't know who the federal rep will be yet, but we can't obviously have too many people there because it is a construction site. So it will be done. Paul, I think everybody's gathering in the Lions, the name escapes me now, the Active Living Center from the Lions Club there. And then, depending on the weather, we may be able to move outside to do the formal shovel turning kind of thing. But there will be something. I just don't know exactly what that looks like. It's going to be weather dependent too. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Ron. Stephanie, yes, please go ahead.
I guess if there isn't going to be too many people, are we able to stream it so people can see at least, or if we posted later?
Is that for Lisa? Yep.
Yep.
Or sorry.
Yeah.
I was going to ask Lisa.
Yeah, I'll be doing a live Facebook of the ceremony as well. We'll do a press release and that sort of thing, letting people know what's happening, but we'll encourage people to watch it live that day. Yep.
Right, good question. Thank you very much. Okay, Paul, was there anything else with that, with 7.2 that you wanted to talk about, or? No, you're good. Any other questions or comments for Paul on the groundbreaking ceremony? All right. Okay, 7.3, Paul, we're going to go to soccer field update, if you would please, sir.
Yes, so yesterday at the council meeting of Luke and Biddulph, we awarded the tender for the soccer field construction. It went to GH Infrastructure Inc. for a price of $2,387,621.86, and that is including HST. So that work on that is going to start right away, and in hopes that we keep ahead of everything, and it wouldn't be this upcoming season, but hopefully the next season we'll have grass growing and we'll be good to go.
Right. Okay, excellent. Questions or comments for Paul? If I may too, and I think I asked yesterday morning at council about making sure that the kids still get kids are still going to be playing, that we still have that, but I think our CAO told us that we still have that field up through the rest of this year. I can't remember, or is it next year?
Yeah, if I may, through you, the chair,
Yes.
the soccer season this year will look exactly the same as last year. All the same fields are being used. The upper field is still available this year. The schedule for the developer is to dig that up starting this fall for services, because they want to put some townhouse. I forget how many units are in there, but it's going to be filled up with townhouses. But that construction is going to start this fall. But they've assured us that for this playing season, and they're usually done by the 1st of September, they'll be able to use the upper field.
The upper field. All right. Okay. Thanks. Thank you very much. Thank you.
If I may, through you, Chair, just to emphasize on that, we did get a letter of support from minor soccer, and this year their program's grown to almost 500 participants with 9 competitive teams. So like there's a lot of growth in the competitive play for soccer in Luke and Biddulph. So having that premier field that we're going to be adding is going to be huge for them. So it's going to be a huge draw. And I think, price tag seems large, but I think it's really important to understand what we're doing here and what we're developing and how it's going to be. Like, we're going to be the envy of a lot of communities around here. And I think we're going to really draw people in and make good use of these fields.
I do. And yes, Ron, please go ahead.
I was just going to add, if I may, that I don't know if anybody saw the news last week, but Dorchester is putting in one ball diamond. Now, mind you, it's going to be a premier, very nice ball diamond, but it's 2.8 million, and that's including 400,000 worth of donated artificial turf that's coming out of the Rogers Center. So that is going to be a nice facility. But that, again, that's one diamond. We're talking four full-size fields here. So
I do. Excuse me. Sorry. Any other? Thank you for that, Ron. Questions or comments? Or I do just have 2 really quick ones, if I could, as chair. Just first of all, like, this is when I've looked at the plans, and I've been in on this for a while, and so as most of you have, and it's like a 30 or 40 year, 30 or 40 year thing for our community. Plus, it's really it's somebody that's played soccer, but it's also it's an affordable alternative for parents, to get people out there. So, and again, it just healthy communities, right? So I think it's, again, I just so everybody knows I supported it 100%. So, and having said that, we will go to, was there anything else? Paul, yes.
I think too, it's important to understand with the full size fields, like, we don't have 4 full size fields right now. We in fact have 3 very different size fields. So having 4 full size field brings a lot more adaptability to soccer. So like, it's not 4, technically, like, when you divide them in half, like, you're getting 6 fields on the non-premier fields, and then the 1 premier field as well. So there's a huge adaptability there, which is great for growth in soccer.
Good. All right. Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments on that? Okay. Paul has 7.4 for Paul. Pool update, sir.
Yes, and if I may, do I have screen sharing, Lisa? or Ron? There we go.
Yeah, it's done.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
So just because not everyone was able to join us before and the weather, I just wanted to bring up some pictures of what it looks like around the pool right now. Nothing's wrong with the pool. I just thought, now's the time before we continue on in next steps in the hiring process that we need to have a good, frank conversation regarding the pool, its operation, and safety. We wouldn't be appropriate to not have that conversation. So I think we need to, the developers have put a plan in place. They think that they could offer us the space of the pool to operate through the season. That's why we posted for the lifeguard jobs. But I just want you to kind of see what it looks like. Right here, you can see the construction fence where it is in relation to the pool. This obviously would have to bump back for us to have pool operations. You need the proper passageway throughout the outside of the pool. But why can't I change that? There we go. And this just kind of gives you a good reference of kind of how close the construction is right around the pool. As parents, as friends, we need to really think about, what would your thoughts be bringing a child to this pool? You're taking them there to swim. Are you going to feel comfortable with this going on around them? Let me bring you right here. For instance, this is going to be the sole. It would almost be like a construction tunnel, because where the existing transformer is, that's going to be the roadway. And over on the other side where you can see the orange markings, that's where the new transformer is going to be. So that's going to be dug up on both sides with basically a safety fence tunnel getting you to the building. And right here, you can get a good see. Let me see if I can zoom it without the chat thing popping up. So if you see the edge of the concrete slab there, that's essentially where they're going to be working. So there's going to be a building under construction that close to the pool up until the second story. So obviously, while construction's going on, the pool wouldn't be open. It would be open outside of those hours. So we're talking evening, weekends. It's important to just kind of get this in mind. Obviously, come June when the pool would open, it's not going to look like this. They're not going to have the ground open. Hopefully, they're a lot further along. But just to get you a good reference point to see where it will be and like how the proximity to the pool, there could be siding being worked on. There could be people working on the roof. Obviously, Ministry of Labor may have some things to say about it. So we probably have to get comment from them. It's all good for the constructor to say, we can give you this space to work with. And I think we have a good plan, but I'm sure there's going to be comments from regulatory bodies as well as the health unit for opening the pool. I'm having an appointment with them coming up shortly to have them kind of come out and see in case they have any opinions about maybe things that we might need to do or look at in order to have a season. Because I know people are very anxious to have one, but I just felt at this time it's before we go ahead, and as we've had we've had good applications. We've had 6 with NLs apply and 7 potentials that just need to finalize their certification in order to get their NLs. So we could operate a modified season with modified hours if they could dedicate themselves to a full work week. It would be a great job for them. They're going to have a lot of hours, but we need to have a frank and open conversation. As the advisory committee, what are your honest thoughts about bringing someone there to the middle of a construction site to go swim?
Great. Thank you, Paul. Comments? Is that something we want to think about? Or sorry, yes, go ahead. Yes. I'm not hearing your voice, sorry.
You're unmuted, but there's no volume coming through.
Keith, maybe log out and log back in real quick. Maybe that's
if that doesn't work, you can phone me and I can hold up the phone to the speaker.
Hello?
I think Ian has something to say.
Yeah, Ian,
Yeah,
go ahead.
sorry. I'm news for me. I'm on my phone. My laptop, for whatever reason, is not working properly. I'm in the parking lot, as I said, at the Lions parking lot, waiting for my son to do a checking clinic. So I appreciate your indulgence here. I'm doing on my phone. So anyhow, I as I talked to Paul earlier, I think it's important that we run this pool. It's their third year, 1 or 2 years with COVID, and then last year with staffing challenges. And I think leaving it this late and saying, we may not run it. We're looking at some staff may not be able to find other jobs because they were looking forward to this position. One, a lot of people want to stay within the community to run it, and I think, as we mentioned before, even though if we mention that there's this construction going on, these are things that you may encounter. These are things that you may have happen, and have them aware of that. But I think it's important to run it because we have the access of a pool where a lot of communities in the area do not. I was talking to some people from North Middlesex area, and they're like, they were here for soccer or baseball last year, and like, why isn't the pool open? And then you have to have that conversation with them of the protocol and what happened and so on. They don't have that opportunity, but we do. We have the opportunity to have this pool, and I think if we let our public know that this is, as I said, going to happen, and these are things that you need to be aware of, and alleviate some of the concerns up front rather than not saying anything and have the concerns mentioned later on, and then have to deal with those concerns. As we said, a lot of the community don't have access to a pool. They can't afford a pool. There, as Ron mentioned, in a year there's more townhouses going in. They don't have access to a pool either. And I think we have this opportunity to offer this to our community, and I think it's an important thing.
Thank you very much, Ian, for that. And did Keith, did you want to try again? Yes, please.
Am I back on now?
Yeah.
Yes, you're working. Thank you very much.
Perfect. I'm not very good at the computer here. I agree with Ian. Like, I think what I was going to say was we got to keep this pool going. I know there's construction going on, but as Paul says, like, they're willing to work with us to try and keep it working. And obviously those pictures are a little different by the time June comes. So yeah, like, they probably do this all the time down in the big cities, right? We're beside each other. So it's just a combination. But yeah, I agree with Ian. We got to keep this pool going. Like the money we spent the last couple of years, and keep lifeguards. So yeah, that's basically all I really wanted to say. I said discard the construction. I think we can always, there's always big tarps, something. By the time June comes, it'll be totally different, right? So, and with buildings, then you can start tarping off a lot better. So yeah, that's all I really wanted to say was just keep that pool going.
All right. Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Keith. Yes, Paul, go ahead.
And if I may too, the constructor has said by June, obviously it's going to look a lot different. Hopefully at that point, like they're well ahead. They've almost got all their storm sewers in and everything. Like once it'll be probably a gravel and concrete, and we could even have the first coat of asphalt down at that point, so it will look a lot different. The steel will be up, I hope. And I think really it'll be more siding and exterior stuff. It won't be as, like I said, when you look at it now, it kind of gives you, and I'm just as guilty, it gives you kind of worries when you look at it now, but I'm hopeful that it wouldn't look like that in June. As well, council's instructed staff to bring forward a report just so the PRAC committee is aware of what we could potentially look at for a project to improve on the pool. So that's coming forward shortly in spring here. So we're still looking at keeping this pool going and possibly making it better. So there's no fears of that. The pool's not going anywhere, and obviously it's important. And just so the committee knows as well, Todd Bailey sent his regrets. He couldn't make it to this meeting. He did reach out to me though earlier because he knew we wouldn't be able to make it, and he just wanted to express that he pretty much echoes what Ian's saying and what Keith's saying, that we haven't had it. I think people will be very disappointed. They're very much looking forward to having it, and I told them I would pass it on to the committee here.
All right, thank you for that, Paul. Were there any other comments that we have for the 7-4 for the pool update? Any other members? Councillor Hodges.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I think I agree with Ian and Keith. You know, we're just getting out of COVID here. We're getting our masks off. People want to get out. They want to be outside in the community and enjoy the amenities. You know, get out of their houses, and a pool is a great option for that. I guess looking at the photos that Paul shared, thanks for taking those and sharing that, Paul. I'm just wondering if there has to be maybe any more like robust or like more significant fencing or just separation between the construction area and the pool area. Looks like they have like the snow fence set up now, but maybe a steel fence with maybe a wrap or something to, yeah, Paul.
Okay, yep. Go ahead,
Yeah,
Paul.
I do. That fencing that's there right now is more just to prevent their workers from falling into the pool. I believe when it actually would come down to having it operate, it would be far better fencing than that, because they're not going to want kids to wander into their construction site either. So I think it'd be more robust. I would hope it would have some sort of maybe even some screening or something to help keep particulates out of the air and keep dust out of the pool. And because that is one concern. Even, you know, I've had someone out there that works on pools that have even made comment like, wow, you're gonna try and have the pool open with this. I'd be worried what it's gonna do to your system, but that's also, as it is now, ripped open with the ground, like with dirt flying around everywhere. Like if it looked like that in June, there's no way. Like it would be very hard to have that run. But I think, you know, wrapping your head around the fact that in June it won't look like that is the biggest thing, but it still scares you a little bit when you see how close everything is and right around that site. So
yeah, like I think that would be, I was going to mention the sediment too. Yeah, getting into the water, and it might require some more kind of frequent maintenance there. But I guess just with the construction, you know, we don't want people to be like scared of going near the pool or just thinking it's we have to stay away. Like, I guess if we can help sort of people navigate the area and make it accessible and safe for everyone, that'd be great. I thought you might have mentioned when you were giving the update there, and maybe I misheard you, but did you say the pool's not open during construction hours? Because I expect construction would be typical Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. to, I don't know, 5 or 6 p.m. Is the pool a weekend thing, or is it throughout the week? Or can you just maybe elaborate on that?
yeah, the pool is open throughout the week, but it's generally not open until more in the evening. I believe sometimes we did 4 o'clock, Abby, correct me if I'm wrong, or 4:30.
No, sorry, Paul. We did have morning lessons, and then afternoon public swimming would be around lunchtime. You're probably thinking of the more popular lessons seem to be in the afternoon, and swim teams in the late afternoon and that kind of stuff, but we did offer lessons during the morning as well as the public swim at lunchtime.
For some reason, I'm thinking during school. I don't know why. I think that's
COVID brain.
Yeah, I know. It's been a while since we've had it. I think that's probably the issue. I think it's important though, like it wouldn't be the same as a normal season. And we've expressed that already. Like it's gonna, in order to operate around construction, there will be times where they're gonna have to say, we have a crane coming in to do work overhead. You can't have kids in that pool. So I think it's gonna be modified, but you know, if we don't have the full lifeguarding staff that we had before, maybe that's even better, because then we can operate on a modified schedule to have a pool open, but not have as like the huge plethora of guards that we had in the past. But yeah, there's definitely going to be some scheduling to work around with the constructors.
Okay. Thank you, Paul. Follow up, Councillor Hodges.
No, I think that's all my comments. But thanks for the update, Paul.
Okay, thank you.
I believe
Ron?
Ron had something.
Yes, Ron, you
Yeah,
got-
if I may, Mr. Chair, the communication is going to be really important between the contractor and Paul here, because obviously we can't make a split-second decision. So there's got to be a bit of notice. So for example, if they are going to be working on the overhead stuff on the side that's too close to the pool, for example, hopefully they're going to know that, say on Monday, that the crane, and they're going to be working outside on Friday. So you can give not only the lifeguards, but we can put it on social media that, hey, due to construction, pool's going to be closed for this day or whatever, just for Friday. Again, communication, we're not going to be able to communicate enough to people, but we're going to do our best.
All right. Thank you, Ron. Paul?
If I may, just to follow up on that as well, we've already kind of had that conversation with the constructor at our very first meeting regarding this. And they've promised to try and give us as much notice as possible. Obviously, anyone who knows construction knows that sometimes that's not possible, but to echo what Ron has said, like, we've stressed that that's important for us, for communication for the public and our staff. So we're hoping that they're going to be able to do with it. We've got a very good group that we've been working with from Tana. I'm actually quite happy with the site super and his superior. They've been great to work with their scheduling. They're pretty realistic. They're pretty on top of things. So I'm hoping that it's not going to veer from a lot of what they propose.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Paul. Any other further questions or comments on 7.4 for Paul? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move ahead to 7.5 programming update, and that is Abby.
Thank you. Okay, so programming update. We just opened our summer day camp registration, and that has been absolutely crazy. The program is always very well received, but I think after the success of the program last year, our program is going to be more popular this year. I would say actually our modified programming last year was the most successful summer day camp that we hosted, just because of the different modifications and the configurations that we had to make, like separating the groups, more counselors, less kids, and age groups divided. We're opening our active senior pass, which is $30 a month for all of our senior exercise classes, and that's the first time it's been back since some of the shutdowns during COVID. And the last update that I have is that we did just conclude our summer day camp counselor interviews. We had a lot of lovely candidates, and we'll be making those hires by the end of the week.
Great. Thank you very much, Abby. Any questions or comments for Abby? We have none. Okay, and you're good, Abby? That's it for, is it? Okay, thank you very much. Okay, we'll go back to Paul, 7.6, Trails and Connectivity Committee.
Thank you, Chair. So a while back, I had brought forward an idea to the committee that we were going to work on trying to put some sort of trails committee together. Bruce Lamb of the Lions Club, it's something he tried to put together back in, I think, 2010. But at that point, it wasn't a municipal thing. It was kind of a community-led thing. And I met with him, got some advice from him. And I've also been working with Jeff Little from the Public Works Department. And I think we've got an idea to form a committee. And we started working on a terms of reference that it kind of aligns with, we've got some design standard stuff coming forward. And I think the idea of this committee, it's not just trails, it'd be trails and connectivity throughout the whole community. It's a comment that I've had come forward a lot. It'd be great to, get from point A to point B. Like, can we have trails going through here to there? How do we get over to the arena quickly? We've got all these, we've got neighborhoods sprawling out. How can we connect them together? So I think the importance of this committee, they'd have input on that. So when there's new development coming forward, hopefully, if they are able to have some input towards design standards, they could be a committee to give, much as you do for Parks and Rec, they help to give them advice on these matters. I think too, we'd probably have a member of the AODA committee of the county. We'd probably invite them to join this committee, as well as maybe a member of the ABCA, because they have experience and knowledge in trails. I think at the same time, we're also going to be probably trying to recruit a list of volunteers to work with the trails if we develop a trail system, because as you all know, the Lions members know, trails take a lot of work and a lot of maintenance. Volunteers, I know I've had that from the ABCA. They said volunteers is the driving force to a really good trail system. because otherwise it's very taxing and it can be expensive for, especially a small municipality such as ours, to be out there. You'd have one person dedicated to trails alone. So I think if you could get a good group of volunteers at the same time, it might be a good joint kind of effort. So that's just it's a brief summary of what we're looking at doing. This probably would align with the next term of council. So it probably wouldn't be until the fall we'd be looking at doing this. And then as the new council is voted in, we'd bring it forward. And I think at that time we'd open up for members to be appointed by council.
All right, thank you, Paul. Anybody have questions or comments for that? I go ahead, Councillor Hodgins first, please.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. So this is a new committee, like similar to this Parks and Recreation Committee or Finance Committee. Maybe a question to Ron, but I guess what's the process here of adding a committee? Does another committee get dropped, or is it just gets tacked on? Or
Sorry, Mr. Chair, through
Yep,
you to
go ahead, Ron, please.
to Mr.
Yes.
Hodgins. I think you have to look at how you want the committee to be structured. Do you want the committee to report to this committee? Because in this case, or in that case, it would be a subcommittee to PRAC. And I would think that that's probably the appropriate way to go. But I think what Paul has to do in the, up until the point in time, he's got to come up with a sort of terms of reference. What is the expectation, and what is the expectation of this committee? What are they going to do? So I think you need to spell that out. And then probably, Paul, you and I haven't spoken about this, but I think he should come back to this committee and come up with, how many people are we talking? How many people should sit on this committee? I don't think you probably need 12, but if you need an ABCA rep and you need a Lions rep, you should have a council rep. Like you're already at 4. You're probably looking at a minimum of six or 7 people, I would think. So those types of issues should be spelled out in terms of reference. The terms of reference get adopted. Again, if it's going to be a subcommittee of PRAC, then it's adopted by PRAC, and then it goes forward. So ultimately, council does have the final say, but again, it starts at this level and goes up to council.
Thank you, Ron. Follow up, Councillor Hodgins.
No, I think that answers my question. Just comment that it's interesting. I think it's something we definitely hear from the community. They want more kind of trails, and they want connectivity to be considered more, and it's something we're definitely looking at and considering through our official plan amendment. So yeah, no, I think it's great. Thank you.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Any other comments or questions for Paul? I just had one quick one, Paul. So between now and that time, is there anything you want this committee to look at or do or offer to move that forward?
To you, Chair. I believe so. Like I've already started drafting up terms of reference. I've gone back and forth with Jeff a few times, kind of what we it might look like. And I think what I'd probably do is before the fall, because I think it should be talked to at this committee and then brought forward to council, and then would then be appointed by council. I think it would be appropriate to maybe once the draft terms of reference are put up, I would bring it forward to this committee for comment. If it were to be a subcommittee of this committee, just for comment and input. But I think the first idea is to put a draft together, bring it forward as a report, kind of to give a full vision. I just wanted to make the committee aware of it, as it's something that we talked about months ago. And then just so they're aware it's not gone and forgotten about, but it's just, it's how these things work. There's so many balls to juggle and it's still going. And I just want to know kind of what it's shaping up to be.
All right. Okay. Thank you very much for that, Paul. Any other questions or comments for Paul on that item? All right. I'm seeing none. So we're going to move ahead to item 8, roundtable discussion from the group. Keith, yes, please.
Sorry, just a quick question. I just want to know do we have a plan for the parking this summer, knowing with soccer and baseball and the park being busy? Is there a plan? Do we have a plan?
It's kind of one of those, just like hockey. It is what it is. You know, people are gonna have to utilize the street parking. They're gonna have to utilize what parking's there. I don't want people driving on the track and parking on the track, obviously, because it's used
Yeah.
by pedestrians. So I'm probably more likely to actually block that off this summer, because I don't want people driving on that. Anything you can do to discourage that. It's not going to be easy. It's going to make you very envious and looking forward to that new soccer complex. Because you know, having both things right there, and that once again with our growth, talking about, you know, that was the debate, like, should everything be behind the community center? Should it not be? I mean, having both activities there at the exact same time, and then also we do have some spring summer hockey. You know, it's gonna be tight. It's not gonna be ideal, and I just hope that people can, you know, we're gonna make sure that messaging's out there, but make sure that people know that ahead of time. And I really hope people in the community walk. I mean, you know, my kids play soccer. You know, well, it's been 3 years now, but you know, when he was my oldest was youngest, you know, we always walked up. So hopefully, you know, it's nice out, and community members, it's not a far distance to walk from any direction in Lucan. So I'm hoping people take advantage of that and make a good Saturday morning of it.
Can soccer not trying to, like, is there an access by Paskets there? Can they park on that side street too? Or I'm just thinking of, because, you know, just with baseball alone and the gym going on, the parking lot's full then. And then imagine with soccer going on too. I can't imagine. Like,
I think people will. They'll find a way. It's
Okay.
like any fair, any community event. You know, people park in all sorts of streets, and you know, people can use the municipal office, the parking lot over here. It won't be open, so.
that's perfect. Yeah, that's good though. At least we know that option, so we're not parking everybody on the side streets, right? So no, that's good to know, because that's not so bad then going across the street there. So no, I was a little concerned about that just because it's a little busy.
You're not the first.
I think that Ron, put in the chat that people can use the municipal parking lot, Ron. So, yeah, okay. So there's, I guess, some kind of an option. I don't know where else that, other than that. So yeah, thank you. Anything further, Keith? You're good? Okay. Any other roundtable items discussion that members of the committee would like to bring up at this time for discussion? Paul, would you like? Yes, go ahead.
Just if I may, just to follow up on Keith. Keith, I apologize. Last meeting, I was going to mention, and I completely forgot. Thanks to Keith and Brian and their young helpers. They did a great job in Granton this winter and providing a community rink. It had a lot of use. We actually had a great winter for it this year. So, you know, you guys did hard work like you always do, and I'm sure the community appreciates it. And they need to know that you know, it's a volunteer run, and I hope they appreciate that.
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Keith.
Paul.
Thanks for you and your guys for what you do out there. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome. Any other roundtable discussion items from the group at this time? I'm not seeing any, so we'll go to the next meeting. Paul's made a suggestion of May 4th. I don't have a time, Paul, 6 o'clock. Is that what we want to do?
If we can go back to 6 o'clock, as long as that works for everyone. I know we weren't sure tonight with Daniel, the chair. He had a conflict. So
that was my fault. I was at a OSSTF meeting, and you know, everybody feels great about teachers in OSSTF, but I had to be there. So there you go. End of story. So there. Okay. So May 4th, 6 o'clock. Can we put that in? Is there, everybody will be okay with that, you think? Yes, nodding of heads. Councillor Hodgins, thank you. Okay. Okay, so what we're just looking for really quick is, I guess then if there's nothing else, Paul, yes, one more thing.
Just while we're talking about next meeting, don't forget, April 22nd, 11 a.m. at the Lions Active Living Center.
Right. Okay, thank you for that reminder, Paul. Appreciate it. Okay, so what we're just going to do now is look for a motion to adjourn. So I just need somebody to make the motion. Thank you very much, Stephanie. Seconder. We have, there you go, Councillor Hodgins. And opposed, No one. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for coming out tonight. As always, I appreciate your input.